News Trans Guide. You're about to see it right there, showing a backup in traffic, and boy, is that a backup. This is a view near Highway 90 and General McMullen.
Quite a tie-up there tonight. Police responded to a crash one street over on Couples just a little over an hour ago. Officers believe it involved a pedestrian. No word on any injuries just yet. We've put in a request for more information, and we do have a crew near the scene. But as you can see, they are also caught up in traffic there, so you will want to avoid this area if possible. Again, this is on Highway 90 near General McMullen. The eastbound lanes are the most impacted. We'll update you more as details become available.
Now, another news tonight, a rash of shootings in San Antonio. We know that at least 6 happened this weekend, and they're all mapped out right here.
2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday, and 2 more just yesterday. San Antonio police are investigating them as separate shootings.
And tonight, the medical examiner confirmed that 24-year-old Devin Christian was killed in an apartment complex on Locke Street yesterday. Understandably, family members not ready to speak to reporters today. Officers say Christian was shot in the head. If you know anything about this case, you are asked to call police. And in a separate shooting, more than 60 shots were fired, claiming the life of Amari Marquise Clark Lovings. The medical examiner confirming his identity tonight. Police haven't arrested anyone in the case, and his family members are hoping that you can help them with that by helping them identify someone. Amari was killed Saturday at the Jungle Hookah Lounge near Sunset Haven Street and Babcock Road. Now, the next day, another shooting victim was found at a car club meetup. 18-year-old Evan Mejia is a father who now leaves behind a family. The rash of gun violence has relatives grieving tonight. The night team's John Paul Barajas joins us now live, where that family held an event to honor Mejia's memory.
Tim, Stefania, we're on the southwest side near Quintana Road. The candles behind me mark where the vigil was, but also where 18-year-old Evan Mejia was shot. Now, there are still some people there gathered paying their respects, but earlier there was a large crowd of family, friends, and people from the car community. They're all honoring Mejia. His family wanted to take the opportunity to send a message amid all the gun violence we're seeing.
Come on, we love you, Evan.
Balloons were released, candles were lit.
He was always like funny and happy.
And stories were shared at a vigil for 18-year-old Evan Mejia.
This gun violence needs to stop.
Late Sunday night, a car meetup turned deadly. San Antonio police say his cars did donuts, gunfire rang out. Mejia was hit. His spouse was too shaken up to go on camera, but tells us someone tried to save him.
My daughter's father was there on the floor just suffering, and they were trying to help him. Like, there was one person trying to help him, and he got hit while trying to help him.
The chaos erupted near Dunton Street and Afcom's Way on the southwest side. The Good Samaritan that was hit was taken to the hospital. Mejia didn't make it.
He was a really great father to my daughter. He doesn't get to see her graduate, walk down the aisle, her first day of kindergarten. Like, he was only here for her first birthday.
At today's vigil, those we spoke to say Mejia was a great father who had plans of going back to school to get his own diploma and provide a better life for his little girl.
Both the sister and the spouse didn't want to go on camera and hide their identities because the suspects have not been caught. At this time, police have not released any details or descriptions about the suspects, and they do not have a motive for the shooting. John Paul Barajas, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, John Paul. Now a threat to the healing process in Uvalde. It is a concern after a 16-year-old there was arrested. That teen accused of threatening a shooting at the high school on social media. Uvalde police and DPS arrested the student at home. Now they're facing felony terroristic threat charges. Mary Beth Fisk, the director of the Uvalde Together Resiliency Center and CEO of the Ecumenical Center, says a threat like this can interrupt the healing families are trying to accomplish following the shooting at Robb Elementary.
Every time we hear of a trauma, and especially if the trauma are potential traumas that may bring back feelings of being unsafe, our students can be re-traumatized, our parents can be re-traumatized, the community can be re-traumatized, and so it's unfortunate.
Fisk says as parents talk with their high school age students about what happened, they need to take it at their own child's pace. The district says they are working with state and local law enforcement to help keep their community safe.
Text messages and new pictures are being shared in a case involving migrants that were flown from San Antonio to Massachusetts last month. A woman named Perla Huerta is accused of luring those migrants on board jets. Now, screenshots of text messages show conversations between migrants and Huerta. In one text, Huerta said, quote, "They will hate me today, but no one would have given you this opportunity," end quote. The national president of LULAC says that migrants were deceived.
They felt they were lied to, that they were fraudulently told to get on a jet.
Now, LULAC is planning to file its own lawsuit against Florida's governor. New pictures from the scene also show an off-duty Bexar County Sheriff's deputy and K-9 checking migrants' luggage. The sheriff's office says the deputy came forward early on in the investigation, is a cooperating witness, and is not suspected of any wrongdoing.
And we've waited 6 months for a day like today. 57 this morning, then a high temperature of 72, which for a change is well below average, a good 10 degrees below average for the day. Right now we're sitting at 59 degrees officially at the airport in town. By 3 a.m. we're down to 52, and early tomorrow morning we're going to be in the 40s, even some 30s in some parts of our area. I'll tell you how cool and where, and also when temperatures rebounded just a bit.
Thank you, Adam. New on the Nightbeat, we know what to expect from police when they handle crashes, rescues, or arrests, but what about when they deal with someone having a mental health episode? The Night Team's Patty Santos tells us it's been a changing part of the job for some years.
Every day on every shift, San Antonio police officers come across someone having a mental health episode.
People acting erratic or behavior that's concerning, and so our job is to get there and kind of assess what's really going on.
That's why every SAPD officer is trained on crisis intervention, a 40-hour academy course followed by a refresher course every 3 years keeps them on task. Danny Herrera is one of 22 officers assigned to SAPD's mental health unit.
So we're really trained to mostly slow down the call to be able to gain a better understanding of what's actually going on.
His job is to follow up with a person with chronic mental issues for weeks, even years.
From there, we will actually engage with these individuals to actually provide long-term stabilization.
It's a change the public has been demanding to reduce fatal shootings or injuries to people having mental episodes. Instructor Mike Davis says it's about saving lives.
The goal is for everyone to go home at the end of the day, not just them, but the people that they're helping, and to create trust. And that's really what it's all about.
Davis helps train officers how to recognize and communicate with someone with autism, behavioral disorders, or other intellectual and developmental disabilities, sometimes with the help of interactive simulators.
They're victims of crime as well. So we're going to interact in law enforcement with people, from these communities. And so we need to raise awareness for our first responders so that we can provide the same level of services that we would for any victim.
They say an officer who handles a mental health call with calm and with resources makes a good impression not only on that individual, but also on the family and on that neighborhood. Patty Santos, KSAT 12 News.
To another concern facing the San Antonio Police Department, since 2008, 11 San Antonio police officers have committed suicide. 6 of them in just the last year, plus a recent retiree, according to the department. Police Chief William McManus says the department has several services for officer wellness, though officers worry what could happen if they use them.
If we were told that someone is threatening to hurt themselves or wants to kill themselves, if we don't take the weapon away, then that's a problem.
The chief says the department only temporarily takes their guns and puts them on administrative duty if there is a concern the officer would hurt themselves. Still, he acknowledges there is a stigma which needs to be reduced. Public Safety Committee members and the police department are now looking into how to make some changes. After a survey and discussions with officers, the department hopes to evaluate recommendations in February and March.
Coming up, 2 bodies found in the same area just weeks apart. Local investigators now have another question to answer in that case.
And a lawsuit leading to frustrations. The Bexar County Commissioner even called out the elections administrator. We'll hear from him in just a moment.
Plus, KSAT Investigates goes to court. The local doctor who faced a judge for a boarding home with a bad record. We're going to talk about what the judge said about the dozens of violations that were uncovered. Those stories and more next on the Nightbeat. It's the only boarding home in San Antonio to be cited the past 4 years, and today its owner stood before a municipal court judge facing dozens of violations.
The Night Team's Dylan Collier on whether progress at the problematic property was enough to satisfy the court.
A KSAT camera was allowed in court this morning but was not permitted to record audio as Dr. Federico Padua faced sentencing in 33 code enforcement cases. Judge Peter A. Zamora saying he went over the long list of violations racked up at Padua's boarding home north of downtown with a fine-tooth comb. Issues predominantly exposed this spring ranged from structural problems to the care facility not promoting the health, comfort, or safety of its residents, some of the most vulnerable members of the community. While the 83-year-old Padua faced the possibility of thousands of dollars in fines for month after month after month of noncompliance, prosecutors conceded that progress has recently been made.
It was a dilapidated place once upon a time, but then I improved it gradually.
25 physical issues with the property have been corrected. The remaining 8 cases, all dealing with permitting and background checks, have still not been resolved. Judge Zamora gave Padua another month to correct what is now basically the processing of paperwork. Brandon Bradshaw is the boarding home's contractor.
We have nothing to hide here. We're actually people who are trying to do things by the book. There's a lot of other boarding homes out there that are being illegally done and not reported, and that's what the city's trying to crack down on.
Dr. Padua hopes to put these violations behind him once and for all on November 15th when all sides reconvene in municipal court. 6 people currently reside at the property on Craig Place, which has an overall capacity for 27. For KSAT Investigates, I'm Dylan Collier.
Now for a look at some of today's big headlines in your Nightbeat News Flash. A second body found in a ditch has been identified. The Bexar County Medical Examiner confirmed that 52-year-old Keith Hammond was found dead October 9th in Live Oak, and his body was found just weeks after 50-year-old Laura Briceno was found in the same area. Now, Live Oak police considered Hammond a person of interest in Briceno's death. It's unclear at this point how they died. A child psychologist accused of secretly recording and touching a child in San Antonio. 43-year-old Dr. Timothy Kimball is charged with indecency with a child by contact, and according to an affidavit, a woman recalled a conversation with Kimball that left her suspicious. She says she then found a hidden camera in her daughter's room disguised as a USB charger. Police say that Kimball admitted to recording the victim and giving the girl a back massage. Police arrested him in August, and he's now out on a $125,000 bond. And by the way, Kimball was the president and CEO of Texas Psychological and Consultation Services. Bexar County commissioners are meeting a judge's deadline right at the 11th hour. A lawsuit led a judge to order the county to add polling sites for Election Day, and that's something that one commissioner says the elections administrator failed to do in the first place.
You know, obviously, we really shouldn't have been here if we had had the election administrator listen to us the first time.
Today, county commissioners approved 302 voting centers, which is less than the 388 polling sites that activists pushed for in a lawsuit against the county. But county commissioners were told that both parties agreed on the 302 sites after some of the precincts were found not to have any registered voters. And that's a look at your Nightbeat News Flash.
Let's take a live look outside with live cam, and we are looking down at that mess over there on the west side. Doesn't look too bad from here. This is Highway 90 in Couples, kind of where that accident was we were telling you about at the beginning of the show. Doesn't look too bad there from that shot. but on TransGuide, it is basically stopped a little bit further down the road there.
Yeah, it's those eastbound lanes that are being impacted. You can see the westbound lanes, really no problem right there, but those eastbound lanes definitely a problem. This has been going on for more than an hour, so we're just giving you fair warning if you're planning to be out there or before you leave tomorrow morning, just in case this does linger on. Just check your Waze or any other traffic app to make sure that, you don't hit traffic.
And we've got some much cooler weather to talk about. Finally feels like fall outside. It's been 6 months since we've had weather like this, and I know a lot of us are welcoming it with wide open arms. Let's get right to the details here. In terms of the morning low temperatures, this is the coolest we'll be all day. Usually it happens around 7 a.m., give or take. Tomorrow morning, 44, but even cooler in some locations. I'll break it down to different neighborhoods in a bit. By Thursday, we're at 48, so still chilly. Jacket weather in the morning. And then you see those morning temperatures climb back up as the humidity returns this weekend back into the 60s. So embrace this fall feel while it lasts. Now, here's the big picture in our overall weather pattern, why our temperatures are so cool right now and actually running below average for a change. The upper level wind pattern has that big dip in the upper level flow over the eastern U.S. and a big ridge, the bump over the western U.S. Well, this dip in the upper level flow that pulls the cooler air southward. We're close enough to that to get clipped by that cooler air. And of course, the jet stream, the difference between these two. And the jet stream, always the delineation between the cooler air to the north and the warmer air to the south. Now, we know the big blue H. We get it all the time in the summer. That's off to the west. That's going to stay to the west of us. We're being influenced by that dip in the upper level flow, at least for now. So you see those temperatures in the 40s and 30s right now in the core of the cold air around town. We're in the 50s, improvements. Hondo 58 along with Pleasanton. Austin already down to 49. We're still 60 in Del Rio. And right now 48 Bernie Stage Airfield, 51 Bulverde, 62 on the south side at Stinson. Now, temperatures are going to continue to fall pretty quickly and efficiently. And by tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., I anticipate most of us in the low to mid 40s. Rio Medina 41, Helotes about 43. Even Converse 41, within 410 around San Antonio, about 44, 45 for the morning temperature. So still hoodie, sweatshirt or light jacket, but by the afternoon, just short sleeves. Now look at the hill country. Bernie, Bulverde 39 in the morning. Comfort could be as cool as 36. But then I mentioned the short sleeves by the afternoon. Low to mid 70s for highs. I mean, we're talking about 74, 75 around town. And then we'll see the temperatures on the upswing. By Thursday, back into the 80s. By the way, average highs close to 80. And then this weekend, upper 80s, even flirting with 90 degrees. So noticeable changes and kind of back to what we've become accustomed to by this upcoming weekend. Here's the overall weather pattern, and let's talk about our next chance of rain. Still have that big dip in the upper level flow we talked about. That's over the Great Lakes. That, of course, stirring things up too far away from us to get any moisture from it. We're actually looking at the eastern Pacific here, just south of Mexico, for some likely tropical development. Very unorganized area of thunderstorms, but likely to come together and then even possibly become Tropical Storm Rosalind. Then the remnants of it moving across Mexico and then potentially through our neck of the woods, giving us a slight chance of showers. We're talking about a 30% chance Monday and Tuesday of next week. So a lot to watch there, but right now we don't have high hopes of as much rain as what we saw yesterday. 44 in the morning, noon at 65, then 74 the high. Not much of a breeze tomorrow. Humidity returns a bit this weekend. Warmer mornings back in the 60s and highs in the 80s. A weak cold front on Monday, but not very impactful, by the way.
Okay, Adam, thank you.
All right, Greg, the San Antonio Spurs getting ready to tip off their 50th season.
Yeah, this is going to be a great celebration to open with. And when we come back, we're going to find out how Keldon Johnson has changed up something. And I can give you a hint, it is not on the court. When we come back, more about that from the new franchise, or face of the franchise, if you will. And UTSA's game against North Texas, not only a rivalry, but a homecoming game as well. Hear what they have to say about that coming up.
We let the rivalries decide by the fans, but they don't like us, we don't like them. It's just that simple.
Saturday showdown between the UTSA Roadrunners and Mean Green of North Texas is more than just a game at Big Board Sports, but first. Training camp and the preseason are over, and it's time now for the regular season tip-off for our San Antonio Spurs, but not just any regular season, the 50th anniversary of the Silver and Black right here in San Antonio. And they do so with Keldon Johnson as a new face of the franchise. Olympic gold medalist is about to start his 4th season as a Spur, as the team leader of the youngest roster in franchise history. And one of the ways Keldon feels he has improved his game is by changing his diet, taking his nutrition to the next level.
I just felt like I needed a change, and I needed to get my body ready if I want to be ready for that next step and be ready to have the best season I could have this year. And I felt like with the help of Chef Heather and Mandy, our nutritionist, I feel like we locked in something, and it worked phenomenally. And I feel great. It's the best I ever felt. I feel like I'm ready for the season and ready for a good year.
All right, the first game tomorrow night is 7 o'clock. Our live coverage begins at 5.
Pro football coverage, powered by Davis Law Firm.
Dallas Cowboys star quarterback Dak Prescott is determined to play this week when the Cowboys host the Detroit Lions at AT&T Stadium at noon. That's according to Cowboys owner Jerry Jones. Speaking on his weekly radio show in Dallas, Prescott has been sidelined since the season opener when he fractured a bone in his thumb and his throwing hand. Since that time, Cooper Rush has been able to fill in nicely, supported by the Dallas D, to win 4 out of their last 5 games.
From my perspective, from what I can know and see, I think he's going to get there. We feel like that physically he's at a position that the risk-reward justifies him being out there in terms of any reoccurrence of the injury. Set that one off to the side. We don't have that to think about. So it's a question of him getting ready. And he's going to be given every opportunity this week to get ready to go play.
That impressive throwing session before the game against Philadelphia certainly raises all hopes. When the UTSA Roadrunners host the Mean Green of North Texas this Saturday, be for the lead in Conference USA. Even though the Roadrunners sit on top right now with a 5-2 overall record compared to the Mean Green's 4-3, they're both 3-0 in conference play. This will be their 10th meeting overall, with North Texas holding a 5-4 advantage. But in the Alamo Dome, the Roadrunners are 3-1 against North Texas, and even more impressive, the Roadrunners have won 12 of their last 13 home games and are 14-2 in the Dome in the Jeff Traylor era. And to make it even more amazing, this will be UTSA's homecoming game.
We're fired up. We cannot wait for Saturday. I could barely sleep last night thinking about it.
It's electric. You know, it's going to be a good showdown. You know, hopefully a classic. And, you know, we're really excited for the opportunity.
When the Alamo Dome's rocking and we're able to pack some people in there and 2-0's there, no matter what game it is, you know, we appreciate that. So whenever we can have that, gives us a little edge, you know, we appreciate it.
All right, the Roadrunners are hoping the fans will show up big time for what is becoming a rivalry game when they kick off Saturday at 2:30. How the NFL is helping schools in the Judson School District, helping their youth of their community. Coming up. The Judson Independent School District announced its 2nd season partnership with the National Football League in alliance with Gen Youth and TD NFL Flag. Texas High School Football Hall of Famer Bobby Taylor on hand today for the donation of flag football kits for each Judson ISD school.
It's awesome. It's something that, you know, we thought about, but to see it all come to fruition, I think is great.
The youth of today's generation is, you know, stuck on computers and indoors, and I wanted to give them something to be excited about and look forward to.
Yeah, get them outside. The program, which has been expanded to pre-K to 6th grade, has over 100 boys and girls competing already in season 2. Regional quarterfinals for the high school water polo tonight at Northside Aquatic Center. Brandeis girls taking on Alamo Heights. Mules pulling away in the 4th. Meriden Black scores on a no-look shot. Alamo Heights is up 11-7 with under 5 minutes to play, but Brandeis rallies with 5 straight goals. Reeves Sanchez puts home the one-timer top shelf to cap the run with 1.5 minutes left. The Broncos win a thriller 12-11, advance to this weekend's regional tournament. Earlier in the evening, same venue, Brandeis boys taking on Clark with the cheerleaders in the stands. Broncos trying to rally in that period. Will Lockhart snipes the lower left corner to pull Brandeis within 3 points, but the Cougars pull away in the 4th. Cole Fox corrals a long pass from Ian Engel, and he scores on the breakaway. The Cougars are moving on 17-8. Across town at the Josh Davis Natatorium, champion boys taking on the Alamo Heights Chargers all over the Mules in the 3rd period. Jake Canales over to Will Harrison. He spins for an incredible no-look goal. His 11-3 champion. A few minutes later, they strike again. Emmy Martinez Galarraza to Canales on the one-timer. Champion cruises into this weekend's regional tournament 18-9. We have more highlights from tonight's action, including Brennan versus Health Careers on the BGC page at KSAT.com. It's nice to see all that crowd there for these matches. That is awesome.
Cool night to be at the outdoor pool, though.
Yes, indeed. Good night. Yes.
Thanks, Greg. Thank you. And we'll be right back after this.
That does it for the Night Beat. Don't forget, Good Morning San Antonio starts tomorrow bright and early at 4:30.
Have a wonderful night, and we'll see you then.